What is going on, guys? It's Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight we have a amazing show, and a lot is about to go down. So we'll be right back right after this. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Again, we have a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so I just want to get something out of the way. If you have never been here before, I would highly recommend going to our website. In fact, if you look for this thumbnail on our website, you will find that we actually have every single article, every single tweet, every single video that we show you here today is backed up on our website. The show for today is called Did We Just Declare? And then, of course, Waterfall. If you can read between the lines, you'll get exactly what I'm saying. Again, when you click on this, not only will you have access to today's show on a second device, but you'll also have access to all of the articles. So you can actually read along, read ahead, or read back and cover anything that we missed. And then down at the bottom, there is web-only content. So anything that is too hot for TV or people are getting deleted for, that goes down there. And then, of course, on the right side, we are completely independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. We do not have a multi-billion-dollar company behind us. We have you. So if you would like to support us in any way, that is all over on the right side of the page. You can do PayPal during the show if you want a statement said or read. And then, of course, you can support us through any of our affiliates. Let's bring in my co-host slash Dex slash internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, in fact, I wanted to try to get this on here. Dex, if you can, give me the link to the disclaimer. I just want to make sure that I do get that out. It is not working on my end. So, what we can do it here in just a minute, as long as we get it out. A lot of people actually comment. They ask, like, why do we do the disclaimer? The disclaimer was actually put in place about 2 years ago, and that was because I believe somebody called in and said something about bleach and things like this, and we wanted to cover our butts on that one because they were suggesting doing something with it that isn't normal. It wasn't exactly laundry related. So again, we put that in because obviously this is a live show. Anything can happen. Again, we need to protect ourselves as well. And we have to make sure to cover all of our bases. So we're going to talk about China. Of course, there is a lot going down. Thank you, Dex. I'll pull that up. I almost know it by heart, but I don't. I should know it by heart. All right, so let's replace this, and then, bam. Because we are independent. We don't have backup. You guys are a backup. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is, of course, full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, we have a lot of news. China aims to use space-based solar energy station to harvest the sun's rays to help meet the power needs. Of course, this is an image of kind of what it was looking like. It says, with more than a third of days marred by fog all year round in Chongqing City in southwestern China is not the ideal place for a solar power plant. But soon it will have the nation's first experimental facility to test a revolutionary technology, allowing China to receive a powerful energy beam from space in about a decade, according to scientists involved in the project. It says harvesting energy from the sun and beaming it to Earth using huge infrastructure in orbit has been regarded as science fiction. But according to a plan by the Chinese government, the nation will put a 1 megawatt solar energy station in space by 2030. And by 2049, when the People's Republic of China celebrates its 100th anniversary, the total power capacity of the plant or plants would increase to 1 gigawatt, the equivalent of the current largest nuclear power reactor. So again, this is something we've covered a lot of the strange objects or things that China's launched up in the sky. Again, they've made a fake sun. They've made a fake moon. In fact, their fake moon or artificial moon is something that they decided would actually light the night skies and save them money compared to regular streetlights. This would be a constant satellite that goes above, and it's brighter than the night moon. This way, they would also be able to surveil their people at night a whole lot better. If you think about it, it's actually more towards like they want to watch their people 24/7, so they want to turn the lights back on. Really crazy stuff. Of course, these are the kind of things that obviously I've been looking at for years, and since I do research and look at this, I'm thinking in my head, all these people that are just straight up saying China is so backwards and they're so behind us, I don't think they are anymore. I really don't, and a lot of people have an argument against that, and I would say that's fine. People say that America's just so far beyond, and it's going to stay that way forever. If you do have, say people infiltrate your government and purposely, take some of that down a notch, then yeah, somebody could catch up. Just saying, if my opinion or theory is right, very well could have somebody come in office and then take a lot of stuff out and, reduce numbers and things like this. Meanwhile, somebody else is literally producing 10 times what we are every single day. Just saying. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I do want to say thank you to everybody that just popped in. Jeannie Brown, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Fugel fam. If you do subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. And then Dads and Bo's Toy Store or Toy Show says, keep up the great job, guys. Hey, Dad and Bo, I would love to check out your channel. Again, obviously, I'm a fan. Uber Viking, I pray by now you know where your line in the sand is and what you're willing to do to protect it. They are sending who knows who to who knows where. Uber Viking, again, great statement there. Adriana, she did. Angelez, thank you so much for subscribing. Trevor Booth, thank you for pledging on Patreon right before the show. I appreciate that. Laura and Holt and Susan Bailey Kupti, thank you for being the last one out last show. So what do you think about this, of course, this nuclear power plant? This is, again, something they've talked about in the UFO world. Of course, we've looked out into space at other planets. We've had stars that have been blocked by something. And the theory, in some even Harvard professors' opinion, is that might be an alien structure that is harvesting power from that star, from whatever star that it was that was being blocked. And it would have an actual megastructure that circles the star and absorbs energy. I don't know how close this is to the same kind of concept, but it does sound pretty crazy. As far as beaming stuff, we've covered other U.S. projects that are very similar as far as actually beaming power down from space via satellite. Dex, didn't we actually cover a story very similar to that, where they could beam power anywhere wirelessly via satellite? Or am I wrong? I might be wrong on that.
No, we've covered a story about other technology that was trying to do that as well.
Yeah, and that was the U.S. government. So maybe they're behind and maybe they're catching up. And then, of course, the B president returns to Camp David after brief White House speech on Afghanistan collapse. Now, that's what they're calling it, right? The Afghanistan collapse. But again, a lot of things seemed like it was kind of in motion, and it was almost on purpose how this was set up. The extension of dates and everything else, this gap where you didn't have military, but you had your civilians that helped. Very weird stuff going on here. JB, of course, left the White House late last week to begin a 2-week summer vacation in Delaware as multiple crises escalate in the U.S. and across the world. Now, all presidents take their vacations. Some would say that this was weird timing. Of course, starting their vacation at the very beginning of, we were covering this 2 weeks ago that all this stuff was going down, and to schedule it right before, of course, they knew that all of this stuff was going to happen. This was scheduled way in advance, so they knew that. Maybe they wanted to go on vacation because maybe it's going to be the last vacation they're going to be able to take for a while. Biden was forced to return to the White House on Monday to deliver a press conference on the situation in Afghanistan. It said after giving his address, Mr. B headed back to Camp David, and it's unclear what he plans to do. I don't think he's much of a golfer. What do you think of that? And then, of course, we have the Prez will now return to Camp David, the White House announces. So, back on vacation, guys. Sorry, I had to come back to read a script. All right. And then, of course, White House premature to recognize the Taliban as a legitimate government of Afghanistan. So China actually did recognize the T-band as the official government structure. Remember, we went over there. There was no actual kind of real, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say real. There was local structure. There were local leads of communities. There were local heads of their villages and things like this in this country. There wasn't a structure like you do have in most countries here. It was its own very unique structure. We went in there and basically forced a government, like a more traditional government, and then the second we left, we just kind of left it to fall back apart. Or at least that's the opinion of a lot of people. It says that, of course, the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan declined to recognize the T-band as the legitimate government of Afghanistan on Tuesday, claiming it's, quote, premature to make that assessment. Sullivan's comments came during Tuesday's White House press briefing, the first public one held by the White House since the T-band ousted the government in Kabul over the weekend. Remember, that was the government that was put in place and had that leader that actually fled with 4 carfuls and a helicopter full of money. Cash. Literal cash. Again, yeah, he didn't keep it on his credit card. That for that kind of job, where you get put as a leader into that kind of thing, and you're in a country that has a lot of the stigma and operations going on that it does, you just have, 4 cars full of cold, hard cash. You don't keep that in a bank, because it's under the table money. Quote, right now, there is a chaotic situation in Kabul where we don't even have the establishment of governing authority, Sullivan said in response to a question on the subject. Quote, so it would really be premature to address that question. He insinuated that the answer to the question ultimately will be made based on the T-band's behavior in the coming days and weeks. Really? So if they're good little boys for 2 weeks, they're going to be recognized, apparently. It's going to be up to the T-band to show the rest of the world they are and how they intend to proceed. Again, we got to see if they're potty trained yet. President JB's top security advisor continued, quote, the track record has not been good. A lot of beheadings. And then, of course, U.S. reportedly freezes the actual Afghanistan's national reserves in American banks to cut the T-band off from them. So, kind of seems like mixed signals here. Now, if you want to call in on any of this, make sure to give me a call at 224-400-MARF. The number will be scrolling down below. That black line there, the number 224-400-6273 will be down there. If you don't see what MARF translates into, just wait. The next time around, it does show you. That is indeed 224-400-6273. And then following the T-band's takeover of the country on 15th of August, the U.S. announced it would allow the new regime to access government funds, including financial assistance to Kabul from Western governments. Washington also said it was not planning to recognize the T-band's government right away. The U.S. administration had frozen accounts at American banks that hosted part of Afghanistan's national reserves, cutting off the T-band's access to the money left over from the previous government. It says the Washington Post has reported the decision was made by the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and officials from the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, the media outlet said, citing an anonymous source in the government. I love how these big papers, if they have an anonymous source, nobody questions it. But of course, if any independent has an anonymous source, it's like, oh, well, it's an anonymous source. Not everybody wants to, be beheaded. Any central bank assets the government have in the United States will be made available to the T-band. That was what the newspaper cited the anonymous U.S. government official as saying. So we fought the T-band for 20 years, and now that we left, we're just like, yeah, here's the keys to the house. You can have the car back. You can go drive again, Billy. Go ahead. Take the keys to the Jag. And, the bank, we put you back on the credit cards. You've been good. Only 2 beheadings this week. Dex, if you have anything to say before I move on, our main story tonight, which we'll be talking about here in a second, is, of course, a senator came out and basically told us that we have 30,000 troops in Taiwan. Now, to put that in perspective, at the height 2 months ago or 3 months ago, before we started pulling these guys out, there was 2,500 in Afghanistan. So again, that's 12 times as much in Taiwan. The problem is, now that is known, that's a big deal. That means we actually have 30,000 troops in Taiwan. That tells China that we are way more of a protection than they thought we were. I'm sure they probably knew this, and that's why it's all planned and it's all coming out. Dex, do you...
yeah, Adam, this is definitely consuming, and I say this, I mean what's happening in the A country, AG over there. It is definitely consuming the media cycle. And not only, and it's not just the withdrawal. I mean, the numbers keep changing. Is it 10,000? Is it 15,000? How many Americans are left behind that they're trying to figure out how to get out? To things like, there's all sorts of pressure on both sides of the spectrum here from the parties, pushing against, the current administration. So what's going to play out with that is also really interesting. And is there something there, or is it just circumstance?
And, lots of questions that are probably being asked as far as, what is going to happen now. And a lot of people were triggered this morning, I believe it was. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Dex, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you added that yet to the web-only content, but the movie maker, Michael Moore, ended up comparing the picture that we were talking about. And I jokingly said, and I was being sarcastic in a function, saying that picture looked like our, January event, right? He actually put a picture above the picture of the guy with the furry suit with the horns and the flag and all of that. And he said that everybody has their own version of a T-ban, right? So he compared January, the event that happened then, to them taking over the government. And everybody, and this is what's so crazy to me on Twitter, anything that is trending on Twitter, so say if it is this leaning, to the right, it is absolutely insane to me that anything that actually trends, because everybody is talking about it and everybody's clowning on somebody, if everybody's actually, putting some good stuff out and clowning on something that is a left view or prerogative, all of the top 1,000 results is people that use that same hashtag, but use it to actually put down that view that's actually trending. So say there's 10,000 people using the hashtag, Michael Moore, this, and that. It will show you the top and all of the people that agree with it. And it just blows my mind that people are saying this. The same thing happened just a week ago with, of course, Antifa, right? The Antifa. They said hashtag this, and all of these people were saying they supported Antifa, and that their grandpa was the original, and and posting pictures of them because they were getting out at D-Day, and they were anti-fascist, right? So they were saying, yeah, that's a good thing. And all these tweets saying, yes, technically it means this, and I support this, and if you're against this, then you are a this. And I said, how do these show up as the top 1,000? You know why it was really trending is because people and journalists had breaking stories, and none of it was to be seen. So they're handpicking the top results even when it trends. So it's like a one-way street. Even if it does trend because thousands of people are doing it, it doesn't actually show you. You have to scroll and scroll and scroll. And anybody knows that if nobody's going to be scrolling past 15, 20 pages of tweets to see what the real story is. And that real story would actually change people's perception of things. It's pretty insane. Same thing is going on with this. I don't even, I go to Twitter to find out stuff, but I wouldn't go to hashtag trending to find out anything, because you're not. If you think you are actually looking at what is trending, you're not. You're looking at what they have catered to you to convince you of what they think this hashtag should mean. So again, there is good information on Twitter, but it is not the stuff that is trending. Or it is trending, but again, I would highly recommend looking at what they are the antithesis of. While we are in this midpoint, I do want to say thank you to, again, Trevor Booth, Beverly LaRue, James Fox. Thank you for coming in early and doing a super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Robert Toteris says, OEF vet, Marfugal News is the only news I trust. Hey, Robert Toteris, thank you for your service. K. Smith Forever 23, thank you for subscribing. Jeannie Brown, and of course, Stevie Wilkes. And apparently somebody changed their screen name to Stevie McBluebloobs, which was, that's funny. That is really good, actually. I said that as the new, T cells would be containing Mary Lou and Ellie Mae and Stevie McBluebloobs yesterday, because that's the real new T cells, right? The Bobs, the Billy Bobs. If you have not already, I would highly recommend going over to EMP Shield. This is one of the biggest threats, and we've shown you the information of why we think this. I really believe that we are going to have the lights go off. Again, if we don't, that would be an amazing grace. But this is what the actual governments of the world are preparing for, and that's what I pay attention to. This is what they are drilling for. The military, the government, they're doing everything they possibly can to prepare for a lights-out situation, whether that be caused by a natural solar flare or CME, or an actual EMP from another country, or from, who knows, our own. Again, this device, which you can get different devices for different things, can protect you against all three phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. An EMP comes in actual bursts, so it can happen one after another. This was tested by Keystone for 42 before they just said, okay, that's good enough. It literally was just rock solid. What this does is it grounds the actual signal before it can fry your generator, fry your house, fry your car, fry your solar system, or even fry your ham radio. Again, they make a device for almost everything. The most popular is definitely their car version, because it can be put in about 5 minutes, and it means that you will not be stuck out somewhere after this happens. Now, even if an EMP doesn't happen from somebody like NK or Kim Jong, the actual natural kind is overdue. That's what they have been telling us for now a decade. You can go to marfugalnews.com/EMP, and when you do, you will get $50 off per device on top of any sale they are doing. Again, that means any sale they're doing will actually combine with our $50 off that we've been grandfathered in with. We were, I think, their second affiliate. Now they have contracts with governments, DHS, DOD, and of course the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So they're legit as it gets. All right. Thank you guys for supporting us in general. Anytime you guys purchase one, it ends up sending us a small commission. We are independent. We depend on all of your donations to keep going. So thank you. If not, make sure to subscribe and press that like button. All right. And then, Dex, it looks like you have been on the phone. It looks like we've got a couple people here. Brett. Let's get Brett on the phone. This is somebody who is Army veteran and a contractor in Afghanistan, comparing 2004. And then Kimberly W., I just want to say thank you. If the sun sets you free, you are free indeed. Thank you so much for heading over to PayPal during the show. I appreciate that. And then, Dex, when you get them in...
Yeah, Adam, I'm trying to get them online. If it looks like we're having a bit of technical difficulties, so give me just a moment.
That's right. I'm going to hit this article and then come back to it. Chicky R says, sending love and hope to you all. Thank you for that. Thank you for heading over to do a PayPal super chat. And then Zippy Moons, this is not a governmental failure, not a failure of our military. I seen footage of a C-17 taking off with civilians clinging to the wheels, and once airborne, the wheels retracted. 300 foot fell to their perish. This is a travesty. And then JNC, I think I missed you yesterday, and Claire M, thank you so much. U.S. forces reportedly discover body of Mfn lodged in the landing gear of the C-17 transport aircraft. Wow, look at the timing of that. So we saw the couple that actually fell. It appears that on Monday, hundreds of individuals were seen running alongside a Boeing C-17 Globemaster that was evacuating U.S. personnel and Afghans from Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. It says the U.S. has said it remains committed to a full evacuation of Americans and Afghans with special immigration visas. The landing gear of an American C-17 military transport aircraft has been rendered inoperable after the body of an individual believed to be an Afghan was discovered in the section of the plane. Politico reported on Tuesday, citing two sources with knowledge of the U.S. military matter. The individual was said to be found when the C-17 made an emergency landing hours after taking off from the international airport in Kabul on Monday. Sources believe the person attempted to stow away in the landing gear, which was unable to retract during the unplanned landing. Wow. That's
pretty scary, huh? I mean, we saw how many people were doing that, right? And they were all hanging over the planes, but, it was inevitable based on what we saw that something like that was going to happen. And it's very unfortunate, but it's also like, look at what it did to the plane's ability to land.
Now, oh, goodness gracious. Dex, did you get the footage that was attached to that to the web-only content?
I'll check. If it's not, it will be.
So it's a highlighted part of the thing. I'm not going to play any more of this, but, oh, man. Again, basically there is footage. We will put in our web-only content for those of you with a strong stomach that basically shows the bottom half, hanging out. As Taliban takes over, some swap iconic AK-47s for Made in America rifles. It says the Russian Kalashnikov AK-47 and its derivatives have long been the assault rifle of choice for militant groups because of their rugged design. But some T-Band fighters are trading them in for captured U.S. weapons as Afghanistan government collapses. Video and pictures published by the T-Band on Twitter, which is crazy. Some people cannot go on Twitter, but they can. And elsewhere, show fighters carrying M4 carbines and M16 rifles discarded by Afghan army units. Other images show the T-Band forces capturing abandoned government vehicles. The U.S. guns are more accurate and have greater range than their AK-47s. But on their own, they might not deliver much added capability on their battlefield. Said, quote, some of the hardware might be useful to have if looking for an immediate rival warlords, but that's about it, said Grant Newsom. It says they've done rather well with what they've already had. So basically saying, they didn't really need this to do what they do. They're again, one of the generals that was involved over there basically said they were winning, just like in Vietnam. They had the home ground advantage. You had basically our guys getting taken out and even losing to some of the most primitive weapons ever made. We're talking about things that can be made from, Home Depot. We're talking about things that were from the 1940s, and they were jimmy rigging it into something that took lives. So, it doesn't matter about the technology. It's the dedication and how many people are willing to sacrifice. Very crazy stuff. And then Spirit Within Reach TV, thank you, says, been watching you for 3 years. Because of you, I am fully ready and organized for what to come and prepping for 3 years, so thank you. I am in Dallas, Texas. Stores still stocked here. Spirit Within, thank you so much for your support, and I'm glad you're prepped. I'm hoping everybody does. Anna is Lily's mom. What are you doing? Thank you so much for your massive support. Says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Anna's Lily mom. You will most likely be the leader on YouTube. Lori Oder, thank you. Shane Edwards, thank you for your support. Appreciate that. And then, of course, over on D Live, we're going to pop over and say hi to you guys here in just a second. White House concedes fair amount of defense equipment now in the T-Ban hands. Okay, let's try to get our caller on, and then we'll go into that. Or were we able to get Brett on the phone?
Okay, we're trying now, Adam. If we're ready, let's see if we can get him live. He was having phone problems.
Fairy Spirit 2112, thank you for the Ninja Genie. Says, lock and load, be ready for anything sad but true. L Luna 3377, it's nice to see you again. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for the Ninja Genie there. Kelly 2334, thank you, and thank you. Frankie 714, I appreciate that. And then Crazy Dreams About China, God help us, says Fairy Spirit. Jacob Israel is telling me about some of his dreams, and that man, you know what is really freaky though, is he made predictions about what's happening now years and years ago. He even has it published. He put out the predictions in a published book. So not really anybody can say that, he was full of it, because he's got proof of it, time-stamped and all. That guy is, I think, somewhat of a prophet, or I guess something that wouldn't be a bad thing, right? I don't know if being a prophet is bad, right? Quantum Cat, thank you so much. Nana Deborah, Dixie Doe, Recalcitrant, Bear Claws, Dixie Stills, and then Maui Racing Realtor and Priscilla R. Thank you guys for popping in. Mary Double X, thank you. And then What's Her Name 45. Awesome.
Hey, Adam, we're still having technical difficulties with him, so we'll keep trying.
All right, if you want to call in 224-400-MARF, we'll just keep rolling. White House concedes a fair amount of defense equipment now in the T-Ban hands. So basically a confirmation from our White House that indeed a lot of our stuff is now there. We left it there. We just totally left all this gear, and now they have it, including some very, very high-tech stuff. Why? I don't know. President JB's top national security advisor conceded that, quote, a fair amount of the United States defense equipment has fallen into the T-Ban hands after the insurgent groups took takeover of the Afghanistan. It says White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was asked by reporters on Tuesday about the billions of dollars in equipment provided by the U.S. to Afghanistan, including guns, ammunition, helicopters, and more. It says, quote, we don't have a complete picture of where every article of defense material has gone, Sullivan said, but certainly a fair amount of it has fallen into the hands of the T-Ban, and obviously we don't have a sense what they are going to readily hand it over to us at the airport. Obviously there's some sarcasm there, like they're not going to give the damn stuff back. And now, if this is true, you just gave T-cells basically a ton of advanced gear to take us out with. Can they get that over here? Could they team up with one of our enemies and actually get secretly brought here? I bet so. And I bet you they already have people coming in by the dozens every day as we speak. Pretty crazy stuff. And then it says the U.S. spent billions of dollars arming the Afghan National Security Forces over 2 decades, including support for an Afghan Air Force, before announcing its military withdrawal earlier this year. On Monday, ousted President Ashraf Ghani fled the country as the military crumbled and the T-Ban insurgents solidified control of Kabul. Afghan forces, of course, are, quote, no longer operating as coherent entity, Sullivan told the Washington Examiner, but he did not answer a question regarding the future of the U.S. relationship with the army it trained. President B said Monday that the White House was surprised at the speed of the T-Ban's takeover. Well, yeah. Similar to the president, Jake Sullivan, of course, the national security advisor, echoed the view that Afghan forces chose not to fight. So they literally said, nah, you take it. It's not worth it. Who did they train? Did they use the same recruiting video they do for our army? Maybe that's why. I don't know. If you haven't seen our current U.S. military recruiting videos, make sure to go check them out. They're practically like watching an episode of Friends, only more color. And then U.S. must complete withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan by September 11th, T-Ban spokesperson says. So, on the anniversary of the greatest supposed tea operation ever, they're saying to us now, you've got to get every person out of here. A senior spokesman for the Taliban was warned that the U.S. military personnel in Afghanistan must be gone by September of 11th. After Washington redeployed soldiers to watch over the evacuation, the U.S. must remove all of its troops by the 11th. Suhail Shaheen, a member of the Taliban's political office and negotiation team in Qatar, told Sky News. Shaheen said the militants remain committed to not attacking U.S. servicemen, and their immediate goal is to maintain security and prevent incidents around Hamid. I just think it's funny because the current prez, since this is a big blunder, the media is now like giving them, like making T-ban. Dex, oh my gosh, I almost want to pull my wife down here. She read a quote from one of our officials that said basically that, oh no, it was from a journalist. And they said they were chanting, death to America, right? No, America. In the same quote, she said, but mostly they seemed friendly.
Yeah, that was a CNN reporter, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I remember seeing that. That's kind of crazy to use that in the same comparison. How you can say that someone seems one way, but they're saying something totally different.
No, America. No, America. Oh, hey, do you want some water? A water bottle? Maybe? Oh, you look hot. Do you need to sit down? Here, let me open this up. Can you put on a Habib? Yeah, okay, come on over, sit down. Yeah, back rub, yeah, foot rub. Gotcha. Come on over. But we're going to behead you afterwards. We want you to have lots of water before that because, maximum squirtage. All right. Dex, I'm just going to keep rolling then. Obviously, we're having...
Hey, we got another caller on.
Okay.
Let's try and get them on.
All right. Well, I wanted to hear Brett too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him back.
All right. Maybe they didn't want us to talk to him. Ex-Army vet. All right, let's get the next caller. It looks like we have Captain Phil. Kabul and so Captain Phil, how are you doing? And it sounds like you have a girlfriend that is in Kabul. Is that right?
Yes, she is staff sergeant, combat medic there in Kabul right now, and she doesn't want me to worry, so she doesn't tell me just how insane it is, but she more or less confirms what I've been seeing from your show and other news sources about the insanity over there.
Well, so my neighbor actually, oddly enough, just got back from Las Vegas, and she was on a flight that basically she was sitting next to a military soldier, and this was a specialist, and basically said that he was just forced to do something he didn't want to do as far as this thing that everybody is trying to get. But he's a soldier, so he had to do it. But he also said that he was just in Afghanistan and that basically every one of his platoon, they were talking about how they absolutely know something big is about to go down. So I just wonder, if she's there, I wonder what they think there. Like, is there any way you can find out more from her and see if there's anything she will tell you?
Well, due to the distance and time zone distance, her and I text twice a day, in the mornings and evenings, and she's 11 and a half hours ahead of us. And so she just got to the office about an hour ago or less. So she's just starting her day. But she was supposed to be coming home next month, but due to the insanity there and the way military works, she got she told me that the 8,000 troops that just went over there are going to make sure that she gets out of there safe. But I'd like the Marfugel fam to pray for her and all the other troops to get out of there safe. And instead of getting out and retiring after her 20 next month, they got to keep her over to the other side of that country, the A country, and she's going to be over there until November, December. So, but if the Marfugel fam can pray for her and all the other soldiers in Kabul, that I would greatly appreciate it.
Well, I will definitely be praying. Again, is there I would just ask, I don't know if you can. She may not be interested and she may be dealing with so much crap that she won't. But if you, at any point, if she ever wants to call in, or if you guys want to do a three-way, if I know that you probably wouldn't waste your time, the little time you get to talk to her for that. But we would love to talk to somebody who's actually there and get kind of an on-ground kind of report from what is happening. Not expecting any secret stuff, but again, I think that what is happening there is completely different than what they're saying on the news. Maybe you can, next time if you find anything out, give us a call back.
Yeah, well, she told me that she will be pulling out of Kabul along with the rest of the brass.
Well, hopefully she gets out there safety.
And that 8,000 troops are supposed to be covering her ass.
Well, hopefully they get out too. So, well, Captain Phil, is there one more thing you want to say before you go? And I appreciate your call, and I'm praying for your girlfriend.
Just Marfugel out.
All right, you have a good night. Captain Phil, thank you so much. So if you don't pray, then positive vibes or whatever you want to do, I don't know what's happening over there. Again, we don't know what to believe anymore, but I do think that that this whole thing is a mess, and it's all taking all of our attention right before an anniversary. In fact, the 20th anniversary. Think about that. It is the 20th anniversary of the most horrible event in history. This, out of any of the years, it would be like the 10, the 20, the 30, but the 20, that has a lot of significance. So, heads up, heads on a swivel. And then, here's our main story here. Now, this is huge. It says, China threatens Taiwan with immediate conflict amid reports U.S. has 30,000 troops in region as Beijing starts drills. So remember, we've actually covered that they're not only doing drills in the west and in the east, they're doing drills in the north and the south. Russia is doing drills. The U.S. is doing massive drills. And then at the same time, again, the U.S. is doing drills in 19 different time zones. It's one of the largest drills in history. Right now, as we speak, all these things are going down, all of these different patterns. Russia and China, there's intelligence basically saying that they're practicing doing kind of these mock things where they shut down straits. That is something that, a lot of our military knew 2 months ago before anybody reported that. So again, I think there is something massive on the horizon, and that's just my opinion. Tell me yours. It says China has threatened Taiwan with immediate war after it falsely reported that the U.S. has 30,000 troops in the region. Now, see this. It says falsely. It's why we're going to show you what it was. It says Chinese warships, anti-submarine aircrafts, and fighter jets were dispatched for military drills close to the island nation following alleged external interference and provocations. Now, Beijing's state-run media has launched a scathing attack on Taiwan, which China claims as its territory, after a U.S. senator tweeted out bogus troop numbers in the region. Now, Dex, do you think he was actually tweeting out bogus numbers, or do you think that this is something completely like, what the heck is going on here? I'm going to show everybody. So you see the red box there. That was actually part of his original tweet. Actually going to see if I can get that tweet and put it up on screen. So let's see. Which senator was it?
Well, no matter whether it was botched or misstated, it has definitely caused a kerfuffle and of a very significant size. And to be honest, this person sits on some seriously high level committees and would have the knowledge, and he wouldn't have just spouted off numbers without knowing.
No, and he did it on purpose. There is 30,000 there. That's what I believe. It says that, and now that he put it out, he wasn't supposed to. They backtracked and said, no, they're not. If you see the tweet, can you give me the link to that tweet? Because it's very specific, and it shows other countries, and then it shows you what is in what country. And he specifically put Taiwan with Africa and with Afghanistan and with others, and he was making a point. So I highly doubt that he would put that out on accident. But I'm sorry, hold on. Cynthia Lynn and Kelly2334 just came in with a Ninjet, the highest compliment somebody can bestow on DLive. Thank you guys, Cynthia Lynn and Kelly2334. Thank you guys for supporting independent media. Again, I will thank you more in the shoutro. Thank you so much, you guys. Says, save America. God bless and prayers for all. Love the Fugel fam. Us, US. And then says, I have a very long tomorrow. Catch the replay in the morning. Peace and grace to all. Kelly2334, I hope you watch that replay. I hope especially you watch this outro. So let me pop this up real quick. Let's see. Okay, I'll just go over and pop it up.
I got a screenshot of the tweet from another Twitter if you need that.
Let's see. How do you spell his last name? What the heck is going on here?
It's Corn, Cornyn. Corn YN.
There we go. Oh, did he delete it? I'm wondering if he would. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see if he had to delete it. I think he probably did. That's crazy. Yeah, I think he got in trouble for this one. Okay, thank you for the screenshot. Let's pull up the screenshot. You'll see exactly why he took this down. Let's see.
Ironically, this is China State Affiliate Media who is posting the screenshot.
Wow. So this is the Chinese government saying, yeah, we saw that. We saw this. It says now the U.S. and Taiwan authorities must explain. If it is true that the U.S. has 30,000 or less than that number soldiers stationed at the Taiwan island, Chinese military forces will immediately launch a war to eliminate and expel the U.S. soldiers. Look at this. They just covered up. They had defenses there. This is insanity. Look at that. It says U.S. troops today in South Korea, Germany, 35,000, Japan, 50,000, Taiwan, 30,000, Africa, 7,000, and then Afghanistan a month or two ago, 2,500. This is from Senator John Cornyn, who's on several boards. That is insanity right there. And that was the strong response. It says now the U.S. and Taiwan authorities must explain. If it is true the U.S. has 30,000 or less than that number soldiers stationed at the Taiwan island, Chinese military forces will immediately launch a war to eliminate and expel the U.S. soldiers. This is how serious they're taking it.
Well, I mean, technically, they think that island is theirs. They think it is China's territory or country. So therefore, if we're there, we shouldn't be, and they're going to expel us, right? That's how they view it.
It's like Puerto Rico, right? I mean, if we found out that 30,000 Chinese forces were in Puerto Rico or Puerto Rico, right?
Exactly.
That's their view anyways. But Taiwan sees it as its own country. It's a democracy. Wow. This is obviously we've been talking about this, and obviously something is about to break. There is something that's going to snap, and we're being set up for it. We're being told everything is there. Obviously, they are trying to keep the bridges up for as long as they can. But right now, everything is falling apart. Shipping is falling apart. All of our imports and our exports, everything is falling apart right now. And we've shown you every single aspect, what needs to happen for a conflict, and every one of them is being checked off. I mean, this isn't rocket science, people. We're with CV and everything else. There's obviously something big happening right now at the same time as all of this. So whether it's staged or whether this is all one big global plan, to us it doesn't matter, because we're still going to see the show. We're still going to see this thing play out, and there's going to be innocent people sent to fight this staged show, right?
Well, and not only that, they moved their drills right in again today. Based on this, they moved their drills literally to the front door of Taiwan. So they're ready, or at least they're showing a sign of force to back up the words.
It said, he tweeted, now the U.S. and Taiwan's authorities must explain if it's true, this and that. We've read that Taiwan has complained of repeated drills by the Chinese military in its vicinity over the past 2 years, part of a pressure campaign to force the island to accept Beijing's sovereignty. But tensions this week threatened to boil over as the Global Times reported that Taiwan should be trembling as the U.S. won't protect it after Washington abandoned Afghanistan. And, you can say what you want. This is all dog and pony show here. Relations between the pair have strained after the Taiwanese president Tsai Ing-wen hit back at the one China policy pursued by Beijing, which does not recognize Taiwanese independence. Remember, celebrities that accidentally call Taiwan a country have to learn Chinese and go, wow, 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 I'm so sorry, love the Chinese government. John Cena, look it up. Guy is a douche. The One China policy is a key cornerstone of Sino-U.S. diplomatic relation and was recognized by former President DT. I don't know why I did. I just read his name and felt the soul. Washington, however, has always maintained a robust, unofficial relationship with Taiwan and continued to sell arms to the island, including jets, which we've covered some of our most advanced jets. Today, China's Eastern Theater Command said warships and jets had been dispatched to carry out, quote, joint fire, assault, and other drills using actual troops near Taiwan. So exactly what Dex is saying, they brought it right to their door. On top of the record numbers of jets flying over, going into their zones, everything else, obviously they are planning, and the 200, civilian boats. Now that we know what they've done with their civilian boats, as far as they put it into law, that if you are making a fishing boat or a commercial, civilian ferry, that you have to build it to Chinese government standards so it can be used for a future war. Just so you know, that is something that is implemented on every single civilian huge ship that they make. So if it's a cargo ship, whether it's a ferry, they have to be made with a future conflict in mind. They have to have hydraulic lift, so if they have a cargo hold, then they have to have space for military things. They did this because they realized that they couldn't make enough to get the numbers they need to win a conflict. So what they did is they started saying, well, every ship is going to turn into a wartime ship. We showed you that they're now converting civilian ferries into drop ships. Why do they need that? Well, if you think about the sizes of the armies involved here, you've got to transport a lot of people, and a lot of people by plane or by water. So people say, oh, where's this? Where's that? Where's the conflict you've been talking about? It doesn't take a year to plan and get WW3 started. This has been brewing for decades, and it's all finally coming to an end. There was ups and downs, and now everything is collapsed. This is necessary because they've burnt all this money, and they've basically done the cycle of scandals that they can do, and now they need to refresh. A conflict refreshes everything. Dex, wouldn't you agree that a conflict actually, if you are like at the very end of the line, conflict, and then boom, it's like a brand new refresh as far as monetary, all sorts of things happen when you go to conflict.
It does re-gear everything and get everything started up again, no matter where it is. And this could even happen in the A country. I mean, the pullback could be a reason to turn around and go back, right? I mean, there's all sorts of avenues here that we have to pay attention to as to what the complex, so to speak, is really trying to do and is going to do.
I wanted to add this last part. It says, in addition to seeking air supremacy over Taiwan, they have also been conducting frequent electronic reconnaissance and electronic interference operations, the official said. He added that Taiwan believes China is trying to gather electronic signals from U.S. and Japanese aircraft so they can, quote, paralyze reinforcing aircraft in a conflict. Taiwan reacted to the display of strength, and its defense ministry said that they had scrambled jets to warn China's planes away. In total, 11 Chinese aircraft entered Taiwan's air defense zone, including 2 nuclear-capable H-6K boomers and 6 J-16 fighters. Despite China giving no exact location for the drills, Taiwan said that the aircraft flew in an area between mainland Taiwan and the Taiwan-controlled Paradise Island. They're saying, we're going to take you back, and we're going to take you by force. When they say that they should be trembling, I probably would. If I was the leader of that country, I would think, man, I am literally about to be taken out. They have a life-size replica of their actual government building where the lead person, I can't say what it's called, that word that starts with a cap, that they actually have made a replica, and they've been drilling how to take it over. Special forces are practicing how to take out the president. I would be trembling if I was that president, because we don't know if the U.S. is going to stand up for them. And even if they do, he could still be taken out. I mean, yeah. They'll pull a Haiti on him.
Yeah, how much will we stand for is the real question.
Yeah, how much will we help? How much will we stand in? Monday, Crawford says T-Ban infiltrated evacuees now in USA. That is a scary thought. That is a very scary thought. Tanika Moore says, been watching for 3 years, and you have been right on the mark about so many things. Really appreciate you. Keep up the good work. Tanika Moore, thank you. And I do not recognize, I know that a lot of people will end up watching for 3 years and say something after 3 years. I appreciate you. Thank you. Eggroll 125 says, hello, fam, from San Antonio, Texas. Well, hello, San Antonio, Texas. Who knows? I might be in your city soon. I'm trying to move to the Midwest, man. I cannot stand it here in Washington. Diana Carter, thank you for the massive support of the channel, says, interested in helping in Utah. Very soon, we will need every state on that will need to stand up and help. Nadia Lufti, thank you so much for popping in. Jalen774, thank you for subscribing. Shane Edwards, again, thank you for the support. And Lori Oder. What do you guys think about China? As far as, I want to know your information. Do you have family in the military? If you have somebody that is over there and is willing to talk, we don't need anybody to lose their job or anything. But if anybody can give us the on-the-ground scoop, if you have a brother, a sister, or a dad or brother, or anybody over there that would be willing to do a 3-way or a Zoom call, that would be amazing. I would love to see the background of a barracks and just get somebody's opinion on this, something that they can share. How are they doing? What are they eating over there? Doesn't matter. Just I want to get somebody on the ground there. That would be amazing. Let me know, Adam at marfugelnews.com. only reach out if you can get somebody. Otherwise, again, appreciate the effort from everybody. And then, of course, we were talking about the huge deal that the royal family is going through right now, which is, of course, they have multiple things, actually. They have the son and the daughter, the prince and the princess or whatever, and or the lord or whatever you call them, the dukes of hazards, I don't know. You got them in California like, I got cut off of my $50 million, I want more money, and they cut off my private security. And then you have Prince Andrew, Uncle Andy, a person of interest in the Epstein probe. Well, no, it's coming. Prince Andrew, of course, he got in hot water because he, 20 years ago, was taking pictures with, teenage girls with John Epstein. Yeah, the guy's a creeper. U.S. prosecutors probing the activities of British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell and others linked to U.S. financier Jeffrey Epstein consider Prince Andrew a person of interest in the investigation. A source familiar with the U.S. inquiry said investigators want to interview Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's second son, about his friendship with EpiPen as part of their inquiry into the possible co-conspirators, the source said. As a person of interest, he is viewed at least as a potential witness. Prosecutors in 2020 said Andrew had, quote, sought to falsely portray himself to the public as eager and willing to cooperate, but had given no interview to federal authorities and had repeatedly declined requests to talk with investigators. I wonder why. Sweaty McSweatpants. While Andrew remains a person of interest to prosecutors in the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, they do not expect to be able to interview him in the foreseeable future, if ever, according to the source. He doesn't seem to want to talk to us. Well, no It's coming. All right, Dex. Let's see here. It looks like we have Majorly Stoned. Friend is an interpreter from Afghan and has inside info. Calling from Seattle, Washington. Majorly, you're live on Marfugal News.
Hey, Adam. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good. So what's going on?
Good. So I know it's still technically hearsay, but it's as close as I can get to a good source. I work with a guy who is an interpreter. He's kind of one of the first groups to come back here from that A country. Come back here. No, like migrate here, I guess, because that's where he's from, and his family's over there. His brother's still over there, who he was a contractor, did like IT work for our military, and he said that it's not at all like what we see on the news here, because the news here is like they're all simping for like the T guys, they're like, oh, mostly peaceful death chants, and and if you look like 24 hours earlier, she's wearing normal like clothes, and then fast forward like it's just like 20 hours maybe, and she's wearing the full like the black, and it's like oh yeah.
Yeah, she was
super
wearing
peaceful, huh?
She looked in fact, I'll show you her new outfit is right here, right there. The first lady or the second lady on the right. That's her new outfit. 24 hours before, she looked like she stepped out of an REI.
Yeah. Yep. And it's stupid because, like I said, they're all. I mean, our media is like totally simping for these guys. That it's peaceful, that they want peace, and it'll all be good, and everything's okay. But if that were really the case, do you really think there'd be people willing to hop on like the landing gear of C-17s, like, and strap themselves to those things to get out of there? I don't think so.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you have to be pretty desperate to that crazy.
Well, yeah, and if you saw the video that I actually popped up today, I didn't see that until the show. I was actually pretty disturbed by that. You see the legs hanging out the side of the plane.
Yeah.
That's like disturbing.
Yeah.
And
That's what happens to a person going 600 miles an hour in the sky.
yeah, that's what. Well,
Yeah.
when we saw that video, I said, "What did they think is going to happen? Like, did they think they were going to be able to hold on the whole time, or, you know what?"
Well, so apparently, and this buddy of mine that I work with showed me a number of other videos that he was getting from friends back home, and one actually was taking, like, the guy was taking selfies and stuff, who was on the landing gear, and he ended up falling and dying. But they managed to get his phone, and I was really kind of surprised. Now, okay, so when I first saw the first video of the plane, like, moving and everybody on it, the plane looks fake. The plane looks totally fake. It looks like totally CGI. I don't know that it is CGI. It could very well be real. I don't know. But there's just something weird about it. And then he showed me videos of them actually carrying a couple of the people on, like, kind of makeshift stretchers. And you'd think, like, falling from that high, you'd be like a bag of vegetable soup. But, you know, people were surprisingly well held together, even though they fell from so high. So it was kind of weird, but they were definitely moving in ways that people shouldn't move.
Well, and
if you catch my drift, try not to be too graphic, but
no, and the camera angle on it, it's like, why are all the cameras dusty, or they all look like they're an 8mm camera? I'm sure if it's lower quality, it's easier to fudge things. You know, it's easier to fudge lines and things.
Definitely.
And I'm not saying it's fake either, but I did say the same thing to Dex, and I also said it to my wife. And I tweeted. I said, "Why does it look like all these videos were shot with like 8mm film?" But then you see higher quality versions other places. It's like, I don't know. It's weird as far as what's going on. We know from history that they have done videos like that. You know that, right? Like the wag the dog kind of stuff.
What's that?
They've actually in our history, they've done fake videos during conflict time.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I mean, and even just like using other footage from other things, you know, like you remember when we were withdrawing from Syria, and everybody was losing their minds over the Kurds and this, that, the other. With the one, I think it was ABC, maybe, showed footage of this like military weapons demonstration from 2013 in Kentucky. It's kind of at night, you know, and they have the tracer rounds going and stuff. And it was like this, like, you know, public event. They showed video footage of that as they were talking about what's going on over in Syria. And I don't know that they actually like specifically said that this is Syria, but it was, I mean, they essentially, it was a strong enough implication, you know. And it looks legit if you aren't asking questions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you don't look at the small details, like, wait, why does that guy? It's a shirt.
Yeah.
It's a cutoff shirt in one scene, and then a frame later, it's got sleeves. Like, what the hell? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Like,
exactly.
like continuity is very important in regular movies, but it's definitely very important when you're making a fake propaganda video. That's for sure.
Yeah, so actually, and about on that note, so basically how they are looking at us now and how China's looking at us and basically the rest of the world after this whole ordeal this weekend is basically that the age of, you know, the American as a superpower in the world, the big brother is over. Those days are over. Like, can't be relied on. Don't rely on them. You know, because we're gonna go in and mess everything up, and then take a hike as soon as going get tough.
Well,
so that's basically how the world is looking at us.
How do you think that the families of those lost in this 19-year conflict, how do you think they feel right now, seeing the news that after 19 years, they lost family members, they lost fathers, they lost mothers, they lost sisters, they lost brothers at the very end, just to not only give it back, not even to fight, but to be like, here you go. Oh, and keep some helicopters and keep some gear. Here's a couple rocket launchers, buddy. Take the keys to the Jag and the Hummers that we left there. Here's some extra high-tech drones. Take it.
They found 600 like brand new drones, $3.5 million a piece drones. Just left with the helicopters, with the boom booms. I mean,
do you realize
we spent 20 years and how much money?
Well, do you realize those drones, if they get them on a boat close enough to the U.S., they can send those in, and there's parts of the U.S., there's plenty of parts where they could fly that over and do serious damage. We're talking about a T attack with those drones. We're talking about drones that take people out. We're not talking about like, let's take some footage of the mountaintops.
No, and these are like top-of-the-line drones. And so basically it's like, spent 20 years and how many billions of dollars, over $1 trillion, cost how many lives just to deliver these people some high-tech weapons. Like, that's what we did. And we just stabilized both our and their country in the process.
It's pretty incredible.
It's dumb. And like, the current prez, he's like, oh, we're going to move, 5,000 troops there today and, or tomorrow or whatever it was. And it's like, if you can mobilize that many troops and that much equipment that fast, what are we still doing there? Why is there a problem right now?
Well, the other thing I don't understand is, if it is what it seems like, how can you not evacuate those people immediately? Like, go in there with 50,000 helicopters, just swoop in and swoop out, Blackhawks, Apaches, whatever you need to do. How is it this much of a problem to evacuate a couple thousand people? If you really put it into perspective, again, if you look at visualizations of people, we get an average of 50,000 people a day watching, and you don't realize until you visualize it, that's a full football stadium. But when you take even just 1,000 people, that's a lot of people. That's a big church, a large church. You get 300. When you're talking about, say, 800 people, how are we not done with this? You have the entire U.S. government and the entire U.S. military. You have how much technology? We have the most advanced technology in the world. We have the most advanced vehicles. We have the most advanced helicopters. We have everything. We have Chinooks. We have weapons. We have weapons that are defensive on these things that can shoot things out of the sky as defensive. Why the hell is this not done? This is going to take weeks.
Exactly.
What? Because somebody's got a over-the-shoulder rocket launcher? I don't know. I don't.
Well,
think
look.
so.
I mean, this did spring up out of the blue. I mean, and we've only known about it for like 8 months.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. They had virtually no time. They had to fit in vacations. They had to fit in vacations, man.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting around on your thumb takes a lot of time.
Both of them. That hurts.
Yeah. So last but not least, I wanted to mention ghost soldiers. We've heard different numbers about what size of a force we were leaving there that just kind of turned tail and ran away. It was not near as big as they were bragging about, because a good number of those, like a really big number of those, large portion of those were ghost soldiers. They didn't exist. Entire troops, just like battalions, did not exist. But they, on paper, existed and made some people a lot of money, on the side.
Now, can you clarify a little bit more on that, as far as ghost soldiers?
Sure. So they claimed that this group of however many a couple hundred soldiers, they claim that they exist, and on paper they exist, that they're being trained by our guys and fully equipped by our troops. But whoever is claiming that these soldiers, soldiers exist, is lying and just pocketing that money. that was supposed to be going towards the training and the equipping and all of that. And that's actually there's a couple news articles about it, and my buddy that I work with here confirmed it too. That that's the force was nowhere near the size that they said it was, because it's a kind of a common practice for people making money over there.
Well, I could see how that would work, and I heard that there's a lot of scandals regarding the construction contractors that are there to build buildings.
Oh yeah,
and they say, oh well, we need $1.2 million to put a toilet seat on. It's a fancy toy seat, you know. This thing, it's white, it's porcelain, it's crazy, you know. So
well, you know, and he's really frustrated because he hasn't heard from his family like all weekend long. And he knows that, you know, it's a very real possibility that they'll be coming for his family because they're related to, you know, American sympathizers. And he said that he was asking, like, why when they started taking over sectors, you know, and like counties basically, when they started like really ramping up and taking over a number of counties, why didn't we step in? Why didn't we send more guys over if we needed to? Why didn't we do what needs to be done to say no? And it got me thinking about just like the appeasement that this admin is doing. You know, between this and like I ran to the store, you know, and like before, like 8 years ago, it's all appeasement. You know, please don't, you know, build a nuke. Here, we'll pay for it, but please don't build it. You know, it's all appeasement, and that didn't work in the 1940s, and it actually led to like some really bad stuff, and it's not working now.
Well, it's all a game. It's all money. It's all money getting transferred around, and then some big event happens. They don't care the lives that are lost. They just need the story to then trigger something else, and then boom, that's money, and that's money. Oh, that's a new law that helps us get money for more money, to give more money, to go buy guns, to give to these idiots, and, you know, it's the whole thing. Well, Major League Stone...
Now, last night you mentioned the DHS announcement, right?
Yes.
With the 3 threats? Yeah. That was the last thing I wanted to mention. So last thing. Yeah.
It's a warning, by the way, if you don't know what he's talking about, it's a DHS warning, Department of Homeland Security warning, that essentially the new T are most likely people, you know, against getting they're people that are basically conservatives. They kind of outline some stuff, and yeah, pretty crazy stuff here.
Yep.
Well,
it is.
We put that on our. By the way, we put that on our web-only content, and to talk about that just for a second here, we're watching like something way bigger than we even know happen right now. And anybody that has military in the family or knows somebody who knows somebody has heard it, but they almost don't. They don't want to believe it. They want to put their head in the sand because it's much nicer to just kind of think nothing's happening and it's all good, but it's not, unfortunately.
It feels like a rubber band that's just been like stretched so much that, and it's like about to snap. That's kind of just the feeling I get.
Yeah. Well, Major League Stone, thank you for so much for calling in. We're out of time. Is there one last thing you want to say before you go?
Pray. Just pray. I mean, that's all you can really do at this point anyways, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Pray about everything and thank him for anything.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Major Lee. I appreciate you calling in, and always a pleasure. Have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. That was Major Lee. Kelly Gunnery, thank you so much. I am Z Weasel. I just like saying your name. Thank you for subscribing. Robert Finch, thank you for subscribing. Nadia Lutfi, thank you for just hitting that button. Again, when you subscribe, I see it live on the screen, so you will get a shout out. Thank you, Jalen774. Thank you for subscribing as well. Bible Truths. I think that's, I don't know what country that's from. ZAR 35 Zaros. I don't know what that is. But thank you so much. I usually can see if it's CA, it's somebody from Canada. If it's AZ or something, it's from Australia. AU. I don't know where that's from. So again, thank you so much for watching. And I know there's people all over the world that are watching this disaster. Again, thank you for choosing us to follow. And as far as getting your news, remember a lot of the stuff that we have is on the web only content. Basically, you can share that page out. We're going to probably change it around so it's more like a website to where you go and it's like, here's today's news. But for now, just share out today's show link, the link that's always posted under. If you share that with somebody, they will get to the website. And I'll let Dex explain that. But first off, today's show was brought to you by NordVPN. If you do want to support our show and protect yourself, I highly recommend that you guys go over and check this out. If you do not know much about computers, Nord is probably the best company to choose because it's as easy as turning an off toggle switch on. Once you download it, you literally don't have to do much else of anything else. You just turn it on, and what it does is it hides your IP address, and it can put you somewhere else. It stops you from getting data logged, having governments, pry into what you're doing, all of that. It also prevents all these weird advertisements that are directly, labeled to you. Some think that it helps with voice listening and things like that. Either way, it can also be used for other things. If you want to specifically put yourself in France to see Netflix's top France movies, you can use it to do that. If you want to put yourself in Australia to see their top 10 Netflix movies, you can do that as well. You can get regionally locked content. So if you're somewhere where the Google or Facebook is blocked, you can therefore put yourself somewhere else and then access it. So it might be useful in the future as well, as far as like some site here gets blocked in the US, put yourself somewhere else and go to that site. That's as easy as it gets. If you use the special code Marfoogle, not only will you be helping us, it gives us a tiny percentage, it gives you a huge discount. And that way that you're actually helping us grow, and you are actually giving yourself a huge discount. Everybody wins. This is how the ecosystem works on YouTube. When you support affiliates like that, you're supporting us and you're getting a discount. They basically take parts out of their profit out because they're getting a new customer, and then also they are helping that channel because we're advertising for them. So thank you guys, everybody that has supported us up until this day. Every single day I pray for all of you, and I really do thank everybody that has supported us through this 3 years. I started doing this in my car. Again, I started without Dex. Now we have Dex on the team. I would like to expand this to way more. Again, we're building a platform. We're going to need lots of volunteer help at first, but I hope to grow this into something amazing. So anybody that ends up helping, just know that there is a lot planned, and hopefully we have time to do it. Dex, there's web-only content. Do you want to tell us about some of this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got other callers lined up as well. But if you head over to marfoogle.news.com and click on the thumbnail for the show and scroll down, you will see web-only content. And we cover everything there that we can't cover necessarily here on the show, and some things that we just can't, whether we can cover it or if it's just too hot for TV, or maybe it's two-sided, so from one side or the other. But we've added things like the Michael Moore thing you were talking about earlier, Adam. That's there. You can go check that out. Even some stuff obviously going on still with the bean counting, which I think is possibly why we're being distracted right now, and some court decisions and lots of other things that you don't necessarily know is going on. So go check it out. It is marfoogle.news.com. Click on today's thumbnail, scroll down, and look for web-only content.
All right, let's get Zerg the Berg on, a first-time caller, and it looks like Zerg the Berg has some pretty interesting stuff here, calling from Nevada. And Zerg the Berg, when you want, you can pop in.
Hello.
Hey, Zerg the Berg, how are you doing?
I'm good. I've been with you guys for about 3 years now, since 2018, and I got to tell you, you guys, you're doing great things.
Well, thank you. So what's going on? Sounds like you have a statement here. I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I'm currently active duty military, and I felt a need deep inside to call in because of things going on in the world, mainly this country. I didn't join the military to defend a country like this currently. I joined the military to defend a country that my grandfathers fought for. And it's very important to me to uphold that. But I have a few things I wanted to cover. First being exercises. I mentioned that to Dex. I have been paying attention to a lot of different things since I started watching you guys. And recently, we are currently, for the military members that are listening, we're currently in workups, which means we're preparing for deployment. And I noticed a few key things on our docket that caught my eye, especially since, 2019, October, November-ish time frame, EVT 201, that occurred. I noticed on our docket that related to that EVT 71, and then just recently EVT 75. Well, in my background, 71 and 75, those reference basically ship numbers. So if you Google or Bing or whatever you want to do, search it, CVN 71, CVN 75, those are two separate ships that just recently deployed. Those were the two recent ships that were just recently docked up on the West Coast that had all those aircraft on the flight decks.
Theodore Roosevelt. So CVN 71 is the Theodore Roosevelt. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep. And then CVN 75.
And you saw these deploy. Well, so again, so
These are the two we covered, right?
Yeah.
The two we covered that were on dock. Yeah.
Oh wow! So
yeah,
they are.
You guys,
they are actually
So you guys
deploying.
Yeah, you guys covered that. They were in dock on the West Coast or at Pierside, and they had their full air wing attached on board, and that's really not a common thing.
Okay, and by the way, so when we covered that Zerg the Berg, again, we covered the fact that there was speculation they were loaded up to the teeth. Every plane was on it at port, and everybody was like, "This is not usual." He is saying they have now deployed, or they're going to deploy. It makes total sense. They both just recently deployed.
Wow. Now, so now what I'm thinking, since where I'm currently at right now and the information that I'm privy to, I was able to see certain events that we had that said Event 71 and Event 75. So the only thing I can think of in this crazy country with the craziest people that we have in existence, possibly running it, that Event 71 and Event 75 could be related to those two ships.
Because it's CVN 71 and CVN 75.
Right. Now, I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to read too much into it, and I don't suggest you guys do either. However, have it on your radar, is what I'm saying. Like, if something comes up in the news where these two ships go, towards the Tiwanis area or the Chihinis area, they might encounter some resistance, I guess.
Well, I guess only time will tell, and we'll be able to go back to this moment and see if you were right. Now, are you currently in the United
Right.
States? Are you serving? You said you're active duty. Are you somebody who's active, or somebody who's reserves, or
Active.
are you in the States, or are you out foreign country?
I'm currently stationed in Virginia, but we are training out in Nevada.
Now, can I ask, do you guys watch? Do you know anybody else, military-wise, that watches the show, or have you met anybody else that knows
I do.
about us?
I do. There's a lot of people that watch this show that are in the military, and I don't care what anybody says, but the MEDIA, they cover up a lot of stuff, and the individuals that are serving this country, they have a higher belief than what the MEDIA decides to put across the airwaves. And no matter what anybody thinks, I want everybody to understand that the majority of the people that are in the military will be there to assist the everyday American.
Now, can I ask, what is the general consensus in the barracks and around, as far as your constituents there? Are they in? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, have you noticed the military swaying more to one direction than the other? Like, say, your left hand or to the right hand?
Right. I understand. I would say the current state, like, I would have to say, because I just transferred units, and the last unit I was in was way, way, way to the right. But currently it's about 50-50 right now with the unit that I'm currently with. But recently, with the CV stuff coming out, where the whole if you're wearing one, if you're not wearing one, that doesn't matter. If you got a V, if you didn't get a V, that doesn't matter. That whole thing. I've noticed a lot of the people that were leaning left have started acting and talking like the people that lean to the right. So I don't know what's going on, but it's really strange. And I know it's all a game. It's all a head game. You just got to stay focused, and you just got to keep your eyes on what matters the most, and don't be pushed in a different direction.
Well, I also, and by the way, I'm just curious, have you guys had any kind of sensitivity training, or have you noticed anything changed in the last year, as far as, like, what I'm talking about? Kind of like when we covered the new recruitment videos and things. Do you think that the military's, well, I guess how they kind of say it is kind of going soft, or?
Yeah, I would say it's been more than a year. Like, how everybody jokes around about the whole, millennial thing and all that other stuff, and how they're soft and whatever. I don't really care what generation you're from, as long as you're serving whatever. So, like, I would say it's been more than a year. It's been more like 3, 4, 5 years where I've noticed that the personnel, they respond differently to how it was, or how people dealt with people, when I first got in.
Okay, let me ask you this.
We've had to kind of tailor.
If you guys joke around,
Yeah.
Can you not joke around the same way you were able to years ago?
I would say, yeah. Yeah. We still joke around like that, but we're very, we're more conscious about what we say and who's in the room, kind of thing. But there was another couple things I didn't mention to Dex, but I wanted to touch on really quick, if it's all right.
Yes, go ahead, as long as make sure to look at that list as far as replacement words.
Okay. So with the Happy Can country, or the ACAN country being in the news right now,
Yeah.
I was deployed there back in 2011, I'd say. and I did some time at Bagram Airfield, Bagram Air Base, the Air Force base that's there. It's approximately, I think it's about north-south, kind of from that area. Not north-south, but southwest from Kabul. And there's a base there, so I know everything in the news right now is about K-ball and all that good stuff. But when I was there, the one thing I wanted to touch on was the B-man's secretary, or P secretary. She had stated about a week ago about equipment and assets and everything being withdrawn. When I was there in 2011, there was a football-sized field or area that had Humvees, MRAPs, all types of military vehicles that were not being used anymore, and they were lined up like a used car parking lot. And didn't look like they were going anywhere for a while. And this is southwest from the area that's in the news right now. And if a faction or a group of people were going to decide to, in the news anyway, take over a country, and they needed the assets to do that, they're located southwest of that area.
So you're basically saying what they just took over, they took over some serious gear.
Exactly.
Okay, and then what was your last part?
The last part was the last caller. He said, right now it seems like a rubber band is being stretched and it's about to snap. That is what they want you to think. That's all I'm going to say. That's what they want you to think. And that's what it feels like to everybody, right? If you look at it that way, if you look at it from the outside, and it seems like a rubber band that's about to snap, it's not. All right? They're gonna stretch it to the limit, and then they're gonna back off for a little bit. And they're gonna stretch it a little bit more, and then they're gonna back off a little bit. It's just like the only reference I have right now is the NFL, right? Playing football. If you play defense on any football team, high school, college, NFL, the phrase is bend, don't break, right? Bend, but don't break. They're bending us right now. They're not trying to break us. And that's all I had to say.
Wow. Thank you so much. Zerg the Berg, thank you for your service, and anyone else that is watching from base right now, I salute you, and I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service, and it sounds like you've been in for a while. So thank you for the years that you have basically sacrificed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Zerg the Berg, you have a wonderful day, and salute. That was active military. It sounds like he was in back in 2011, so that means 10 years in. I didn't, people always say ask MOS and stuff. We stopped, or I at least tried to stop doing that unless people openly kind of put that out there, because there was an instance last year where I said that, and that person ended up getting reprimanded. But that person actually went into some stuff that was like kind of serious, actually. So that's again why we always make sure that we don't want anybody to get in trouble, but at the same time, kind of like bend, not break. Exactly what he said. We need people to bend, because honestly, we need to get as much puzzle pieces as we can without obviously without breaking something. Kate Paul says, I love your guts. Check your PayPal. Easiest way to send you some love without giving it to rich platforms. LOL. Thank you, Kate Paul. I appreciate that. I will check. Thank you so much. Let's see here. And we have Kim W. If the sun sets you free. Chicky R. Thank you again. Zippy Moons. Pez Player, Claire M. and JNC. Dex, if there is any new ones, can you pop them in? Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. And then last show, there were a couple people. F. Libtards. Thank you for your support last night. Deborah Garner, Groovy Grape Grandma, says love from Alberta, Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much for you and Dex and the fam. Raymond Webb says, I think the Dems would love to exterminate all of us free thinkers. Jacob M says, Islam, rule is so cool that people would rather attempt to cling to the side of the plane and surely die than ruled by the Taliban again. I get what you're saying, Jacob M. Thank you for the support, and thank you for having a brain on top of your shoulders. Silly Gurgle, Ghost Baby Guy, Lady Green Eyes, I love Dachshunds. There was quite a few people that we missed yesterday. There was technical difficulties with the platform. One of my favorite comments from last show was from All Butter Your Muffin. That screen name alone made it one of my favorites because I don't like muffins, to be honest. And I don't like butter on the muffins, and I'd never understood that. Like, why would you? Anyways, it's a muffin. Anyways, Marfugal Max, strap on to the Mac and feel the Fugal. Again, the name's 009 Fugal. Marfugal. Be amazed with your TV experience. I loved that comment. Thank you so much. Susan Bailey Kupti, Joanne Springdolly or Sprignoli. Oh, I think I know who you are. Thank you. And we had a couple celebrities in chat the last couple days. Some big celebrities. Can you name them? If you know what celebrities stopped in last show, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to see that. I'm surprised at the people that watch this show. I am always amazed. I really am. Tristan Early, thank you so much. Martin Benjamin. Dex, if you want to get Joseph on, let's get him on real quick. And
Adam, I added the 2 more to the top of that list.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's see here. Chicky R, I know there's another Amy R in your audience. I am not that Amy R. I've always been Chicky R in chat, sending love to all of us in Maryland. I know there's Amy R that's mostly over on D-Live. Caitlin Ray says, hope you are all well. The only news I trust. Old ones. Caitlin Ray, thank you so much. And then, again, thank you, Zippy Moons and everybody else. I appreciate you guys. Let's get Joseph. Joseph, let's bring you on and pop you in. By the way, Kelly2334, thank you again. Thank you, and thank you. And Cynthia Lynn, 2 just absolute amazing people. Thank you so much for your support over on D-Live. Susie P, again. Chicky R, again. Thank you, and thank you. All right, Newhouse, Joseph Newhouse, YouTuber / Joseph Extraordinaire. What's going on?
Hey, Adam, how are you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. So what's going on tonight?
So I got a couple of videos for you, and first off, I want to say the second one about the Chi-Rho symbol. Just if you do click it, the first 22 or 23 seconds has a copyrighted song, so just mute that portion if you do.
Okay, but, perfect. Thank you for warning me.
So the first one, I'm talking about, the Seraphims, and I bring this up for a couple of my own reasons, and this is looking at in Isaiah 6, Isaiah 6:2. It says, "Above it stood the Seraphims," and it's talking about these like throne guardians. And so I looked at the original language of the text, and to see, what are the Seraphims, and it seems like they could be these fiery serpents, and these are like throne guardians. And basically, I'm just saying that. And then I also looked at this article, and it's kind of interesting because I think today you posted a YouTube shorts about this.
The echoes.
Ghostly rings or something.
Yes,
right?
the rings around a black hole, and it sent these ghostly, almost looked, I said it was like, think Men in Black, and that this is the galactic sink. Like everything's draining into the black hole. It literally looks like an image of like a drain or something. Very weird. And it's same thing. That's awesome, Joes.
So I thought this was really interesting because So in the first video with the seraphims, I briefly go over this article about these dancing ghosts, and it's about a different, phenomena in the cosmos, but it calls them ghosts. And the thing that's interesting is I talked about that same article that you had with the ghostly rings, but it says unusual enormous rings. And this is in the second video that I included this because, so about the Chi-Rho symbol, you were just talking about Jacob Israel, and he has this, I think it's his second most recent now, he's putting out a bunch of videos, but he talks about the Chi-Rho symbol and with these rings near it. And so I thought it was kind of weird that, you posted that article with these rings being ghostly, and I have the same rings relating to, the Chi-Rho symbol. And the Chi-Rho symbol is said to be representative of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And so, it's interesting, and Jacob was talking about the rings with, in relation to it. And now there's, there's just a couple short videos talking about this stuff. The thing with the Chi-Rho symbol.
So let me ask you this: are you saying that those symbols may be a sign that Jesus might resurrect, or am I wrong?
Well, it's just that's what the symbol represents, and I'm looking at this symbol, and this looks, because I've studied, on my own the Elder Futhark runes, which is partially where the English language, the alphabet comes from, like the letters. So runes are like an alphabet, but the runes, it means mysteries. So each rune or letter has like a symbolic, physical meaning, like the letter D relates to the Earth's magnetic field in a way. And so I just noticed that this Chi-Rho symbol is pretty much the same as this combination of runes relating to, the center of the Earth's magnetic field, the Taurus field. And so it's just kind of an interesting series of events there, especially with your post today.
Isn't that weird? It's sometimes, especially Jacob Israel, I'll be thinking something and then he'll post something that's related, or I'll see Brian from High Impact or somebody that I follow, and they put this stuff out, and I'm like, I was just thinking about this, or I was just talking about this, and it's meant to be. It's weird how the universe works. Joseph, like you saw that post and you were looking at this stuff. I always appreciate that you end up seeing something that's interesting, and then you go on this deep dive into symbology and everything else. I actually really appreciate you as a Fugel fan member and as a growing YouTuber. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for doing your show, Adam.
Well, Joseph, until next time, and I know there'll be a next time. I enjoy your calls, and you're never a stranger, so keep not being a stranger, and we'll talk to you next time, okay?
All right, thanks, Adam. Talk to you later.
All right. If you guys have not checked out Joseph's channel, he does a really I really appreciate that he goes into things like I did a short. Nobody even pays attention to my shorts. The YouTube shorts. But you know what I mean. And he does. And not only that, he went on a deep dive onto the symbology and ended up working it into his videos. If we cover something that's like really mysterious, he'll see that, and then he'll deep dive into it, and then he'll kind of expand on it. This is like, this is awesome. This is like you take a story that I might lead into and then take it and run with it. This is really cool. This works hand in hand with our channel, and I really appreciate it. And I would appreciate anybody else that did this kind of thing. Just another suggestion too. If anybody is using, if they use my clip in a positive way, you can always use parts of my show if it's in a positive thing to make to talk about content and stuff like that. Obviously, if you are using it for bad, then no, you don't have my permission. But if somebody is using it for like a super positive thing and they're using clips creatively and making their own content, then, that's always encouraged. Zippy Moons, Raging Bulls, Rippers, Gladiators, go Big Blue. Dude, I'm in Virginia Beach. Damn. #damn neck. That's awesome. Zippy Moons, thank you so much for being an awesome supporter to the channel, but thank you more so for being in the chat every day and hanging out with everybody. I really appreciate you. Quantum Cat, that's reassuring. I believe Quantum Cat is actually referencing how he says that, it's not going to break. This rubber band's not going to snap. It's going to be bent but not broken. Cloud Farrell says, ask him if he was mandated on the V. I'm sorry I didn't, and actually I read that when he was, but I guarantee you he will be. He has. Again, I guarantee he's going to. I've talked to many military, and almost all of them have to get it, or they're going to get it, or they already got it. I don't think they don't have an. It's been like that forever, though. They've had to do whatever things they want to put in you. You signed up to be their guinea pig. What really pisses me off is that I didn't. Dex, again, great callers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot in and covered a lot. So it was a great show.
And thank you, everybody from yesterday, and I hope I got you today if I didn't get you yesterday, like Mountain Kayaker, thank you for the super sticker, Stephen McMahon, F. Libtards, Deborah Gardner, Groovy Grape Grandma, Raymond Webb, Jacob M., Silly Gurgle, Ghost Baby Guy, Lady Green Eyes, Love Dachshunds. A huge thank you to Gone Girl 777, Susan Donahue, of course, we've got Veteran Steve, hopefully you're out there sometime. And then do we have... I don't know if do we have Ilea and do we have Ilea in the chat tonight, or Able Bodied? If you guys are there, if you could just maybe throw a chat in, just say something. Julie Malcolm, what is going on? Shinobi Juan, Mary Dawson, the Saxon, what's going on? JM, thank you so much for popping in. Wolves 50 50 50 55. Paul Jordan Stasny. We've got Sparky's Run in the house. Cynthia Lynn. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Suckafoo. I love that name. Suckafoo. Granny J. Swift Bird. Penny G is in the house. All right. Missy Ledger. Or Leger. Tony Franklin. Angel Webster. We've got so many people here. 5,000. Actually, we came close to 5,200. Yesterday we had 7,000 people in the chat, which is actually why I was bringing up some stuff here. Doesn't look like it's probably slow chat, huh? Either way, thank you everybody. Thank you for the mods that showed up tonight. Lisa R. Hall, love to talk to you. We haven't talked in a while. J-Dub TV show, if you guys haven't checked him out, DHS declares people against TV murders. Domestic tea. We did. Actually, the last 2 nights, J-Dub. In fact, it's on all of our websites for the last 3 days, I believe. Lisa R. Hall, thank you so much again. Love to talk to you. Give me a call if you want. Teresa Core, Dan P., everybody that popped in tonight, I really appreciate you guys. And if you don't know what J-Dub TV show is talking about, they put out DHS put out a warning. Very scary stuff. It's all on our website. Basically saying that anybody that's to this direction, those are the suspects for the next possible big event. Pretty crazy stuff. It's not fake news. It's real. It's pretty scary. Dex, thank you, my brother, for everything you do. I love you. And again,
much love.
Can't say how much thank you to everybody. Still didn't see it. It's okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marv out. Wait, I'm supposed to do the echo on the shoutro. It's now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. By the way, Brandon Henschel, I saw you. Thank you. Thank you for watching my shorts. I mean, the YouTube shorts. I appreciate you. It is dance party time.
Nobody notices, kaboom goes kaboom, and nobody notices, kaboom goes kaboom, and
mystery. And I James Robin, I said, oh, mystery. And Lisa are hard styles. And the car boom as it goes by stars are in the room. Susan Big, dance party time. Hey, Dev Bradley, everybody rhyme. Hey, Crypto Craig, I love the beast. Gotta do it back and got to feed.
Moving.
I said move in.
I said move in.
I said move in.
Love the J-Dub Video Show up in the studio. Hey.
And this beer, all that back. Serenity, P.A. back. Boom, beat, bam, bam, bam. Kim Solomon and Dan, dang, damn. With a Joe and down. Alina and them bow.
Everybody want a local centro. Gotta back down with that still low. Gonna bring back down with a chill, yo. Hey, Laura Griffith, Kimlo. Hey, with a Conan Falker. I'm bringing back John Falker. I bring it down now and locker. It's folded the love and a Lola.
I bring it down, coming back down. Okay, I'll be down. Hey, Jordan's nasty. Suck it on that bow. Bow.
I see ya. I like to go down. Big shout out to Cynthia Lynn. Thank you so much for your support tonight. I appreciate you. Cynthia Lynn. Thank you. Jodit, says don't forget to hit that thumbs button. Sparky's Run says thank you, Adam and Dex, keeping us in the loop. Stay prayed up. Global Witness, hey! What is going on? Vampy Froggy, thank you for subscribing. If you guys haven't checked out Global Witness, he's closing in on 100,000 subscribers, I believe, or may have surpassed that. Very great, amazing guy. Cynthia Lynn, 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 Cynthia Lynn. And not Spoggy's feet. I got the Global Witness and a K-Paul. I got them on the back now, Global Witness down now. Global on the back now, Katie on the ball now. Serenity on Salome. Hey, God. Everybody get in, let's go up the hill and get all funny. I'm running like a spark is running in the gunny. Global Witness, all you go and the sickness is gonna go away, cause we be praying all day. I got love, I've got love for you. Got love for Susan Big and Edgy Whalen too. Hey, Jenny, Texas, and the Bear Claws. Bear Claws. Got the Brennan Henso right behind me, and the homies, yeah, Scooby-Dooby, and the 7 Ruby Rose, don't you know? I got the red butterfly, a Miss Jackson, 906 or maybe 909. I can't remember off the top of the head, but the Penny Lane 67. Drop it down with the edgy wearing. Bear Claws, everybody always swearing. Don't need that to be cool. I cut your mom and the go with that. I got the Julie and they wearing back. It's the what's her name 45 and the throwback and the ghost riding having in the booth. Say, oh, hey. I got the snafu snaps and the Shastina. What's her name and it's still human. Hey, with the Dev and the Debbie Curry. I got the Becca and the Olga Pastrovic. I got the Miss Me V2 and the Leo. LOD Will and the Danky Skull. Bring it back down and I'm feeling real fall. A turkey jerky, I'm concerned about the hurdy. Gotta be moving into